Hi.
Hola.
Hi, hier ist Mr. Döse.
This is Michael Bradley.
Hey, I'm Memphis.
Hey.
Hola. Hello.
I'm here with soccer.com.
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 And I'm talking with my friends soccer.com.
See you soon.
Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new TechCraft 2.0 Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2. Now inside the box you do get a couple of extras to go along with the shoes. The first is this tag right here that essentially lets you know that the finish printed on the bottom of the sole plate, the black crackle graphic, will wear off as you wear the shoes, but isn't going to affect the performance. That's something we'll talk about more later in the video. You also get a string bag, black on black, with the silver Nike TechCraft logo there on the front. And of course, you get the shoes themselves, which I have right here. Now, for those that don't know what the TechCraft 2.0 pack is all about, it's essentially a leather upper variation of the standard top-end models that wouldn't normally be leather. In this case, the Hypervenom Phantom 2. So in place of the Nike Skin upper, you have an Allegria leather material, which is a form of kangaroo leather, this interesting embossed pattern, and it does maintain a lot of standard elements of the Phantom 2, like the Flyknit collar, the Flywire cables, ACC all conditions control, but like I said, the main base for the upper is now leather as opposed to a synthetic. So that's going to have a big difference or a big impact on the overall fit and feel of the shoe. And of course, we're going to go over all of the details in today's video. We're going to take a look at the weight, as well as take a look at how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you are interested in learning more, stick around, watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal retail price. At the time of me making this video, the shoe was just released, and some websites have this listed at $300, some have it listed at $315, like the Superfly 5 and the Obra. I'm not sure which price is right as of right now. I want to say they're going to be $300 retail, not $315. But again, whatever is available, I'll have posted on the review page. So again, little pop-up on screen, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's talk tech specs, as well as what makes the TechCraft 2.0 version of the Phantom 2 different from the standard variation of the shoe. Now, this is interesting because this is the only model of the TechCraft 2.0 shoes that is a carryover from the original TechCraft, meaning that when the TechCraft pack first came out, the first generation, the Hypervenom Phantom 2 was included in that. And with that particular shoe, essentially you got the first generation Nike Skin upper that you had when the Phantom 2 first came out, with a very thin layer of kangaroo leather on top. So the end result was a shoe that felt pretty much like a Phantom 2, with just a little bit more padding when you made contact with the ball due to that extra layer of material. In the case of the TechCraft 2.0 version of the Phantom 2, obviously Nike made changes to the standard version of the shoe, incorporating a Nike Skin upper that is more like the first generation Hypervenom Phantom. This though does not incorporate that material whatsoever. You can see they included some of the texturing within the surface of the leather upper itself, but basically from this seam forward, where you see the leather start, is where the upper is straight up leather. So it's a different experience than what you're going to get from a regular Phantom 2. The leather itself is Allegria leather, which is a form of kangaroo leather. You're going to find this across the entire TechCraft 2.0 pack. And out of the box, they feel pretty soft. I would say softer, at least in terms of just a general impression, than what you're going to find from the TechCraft 2.0, Obra 2, or Superfly 5. With that said, once you wear them in, the general feel and softness of the uppers is pretty well the same on the entire pack. It's the same general thickness. They all maintain the same kind of embossed texturing on the surface, which gives it kind of a suede feel to the touch. Not very noticeable on the ball though. It, like I said, does maintain that texturing of the standard Nike Skin, which doesn't really change the feel. The leather itself, as you guys can see by the side profile, is very, very thin. So Allegria leather, we have seen it from Nike in the past, mainly on kind of special edition Legend 5s and Legend 6s. This is a lot different though. It's much thinner, much more low profile. It isn't really going to provide that super soft, kind of heavily cushioned touch on the ball. This is still going to be thin. It's still going to be along the lines of what you would get from a regular Phantom 2, but again, once broken in, it's going to be a little bit softer. It is going to have a slightly more padded touch on the ball, and it's going to have more of a leather-like experience. That's really the best way to describe it. Now, unlike what you're going to find on the Superfly and the Obra 2, where they kind of strip some elements of the shoe for the sake of the leather upper. With this, they didn't really do that. They do maintain the flywire cables within the actual upper itself, which is pretty interesting. Not sure why they included it on this shoe, but chose not to on the Superfly and the Obra 2. Nonetheless, it is in fact there. Runs from the base of the sole into the lacing system and does provide a significant amount of lockdown. So despite this upper perhaps not being as structured as what you'll get from the standard Nike Skin upper, it still does feel pretty solid on your feet, which is a characteristic that I know a lot of people like about the Phantom 2 and Hypervenom line in general. You maintain ACC all conditions control as well, and essentially everything else is the same as a regular Phantom 2. The laces are slightly off-centered, pushed to the lateral side. The center portion where a tongue would normally be is filled in with elasticated Flyknit. You have the elasticated Flyknit dynamic fit collar, giving it the mid-cut design and look. The standard internal plastic heel counter, synthetic leather liner with a decent amount of padding back there. The insole, fully removable, features a mesh liner on top. You get the Nike TechCraft logo, which is a bit of a difference. And then the standard kind of Ortholite foam insole that actually feels pretty good underfoot. And then moving on to the sole plate and stud pattern, you do get the nylon sole plate that has some decent stiffness to it, but does get a lot more flexible as you wear them in pretty quickly. And then the Hypervenom stud pattern, this being the firm ground variation, which I believe is going to be the only stud pattern on offer for the TechCraft 2.0 pack, at least for this particular colorway pack. There's probably going to be more in the future if they do it like they did with the original TechCraft packs. So nonetheless, stud pattern works very well. Kind of like a conical stud variation of what you get from the Mercurial line. Fairly aggressive in terms of bite when digging in, but you still have that freedom to kind of twist and pivot just due to the conical nature of the studs themselves. Nonetheless, works very, very well on firm natural grass, not made for use on artificial grass fields, of course. But again, on natural grass, you're unlikely to have any issues with the traction whatsoever. So to sum things up, it is essentially a Phantom 2 with a very thin leather upper. How will that actually impact the feel and experience of wearing this shoe? I think in comparison to the standard model, the difference is actually not that significant. When you break in a regular pair of Phantom 2s with that newer variation of the Nike Skin upper, it actually gets pretty soft and flexible. This will be a little bit softer and perhaps a little bit more flexible, but that's really the main difference. So really, if you are looking at these, it's a matter of what you want, what you're looking for. Preference does play a part, obviously, but again, I don't think the difference is all that significant. In regards to weight, I thought we'd compare the standard Phantom 2 to the TechCraft 2.0 model to see if there's any significant weight difference between the two, given the variation in the upper. So I'm going to weigh both shoes for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind they're both in brand new condition and both the exact same size 9 US. So this is a very fair comparison. So we'll start off with the standard synthetic model, throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.9 ounces, the equivalent of 223 grams. So remember those numbers, 7.9 ounces, change the scale back to ounces, and we'll throw on the leather TechCraft 2.0 version, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.55 ounces, the equivalent of 214 grams. So you're talking about a weight difference of about 0.45 ounces, almost half an ounce, which is moderately significant. You'll notice a bit of a weight difference in hand. On feet, it's a lot harder to tell. And for those that are wondering why the leather version is lighter, I think it just has to do with the upper itself having less layers and actually being a little bit thinner than the standard Nike Skin material, which is going to shave, obviously, a little bit of weight indicated by this scale. Again, I don't think that weight should be the deciding factor if you're trying to pick between these two shoes, but it is worth noting that the TechCraft model is a little bit lighter. Aesthetically, I think these look really, really good. Obviously, the entire TechCraft 2.0 pack uses the two same colors, black and metallic silver. In the case of the Hypervenom, it does strip away the zigzag kind of crackle pattern that you find running the border of the entire upper. A lot of people don't like that, and you don't get it on this particular shoe, which does give it a little bit of a sleeker, kind of cleaner look in general. The Allegria leather upper, as you can see, does feature that kind of embossed pattern throughout the entire leather portion, which does look pretty interesting. Not sure exactly what you would call that pattern, but it definitely does look cool up close. Kind of an extra little detail, if you will. You do have the little synthetic piece kind of peeking through. You can see the side profile of the leather where it essentially cuts off. And being that it is pretty much seamless and kind of running through the underside, it looks like it is part of the liner, although this does have a little bit of a raised edge to it where the actual outline is in metallic silver. So black swoosh at the front, solid silver swoosh at the back with the silver Hypervenom branding. You maintain your ACC branding right there on the medial side. And then the fly knit area, as you can see running through the collar and mid portion, is kind of a black and light gray combination, which looks pretty straightforward, looks good, matches the rest of the shoe. Black laces, of course, and then the sole plate, which is silver in color, black line around the rim, and then the black crackle pattern there, which is the wearable aspect of this particular sole plate, at least in terms of aesthetics. Those little black bits will wear off over time as you wear the shoe, but aren't obviously going to affect the performance. They give you that little warning sticker you guys saw at the start of the video. And based on my experience, it doesn't actually wear away all that quickly. And given the colorway itself, I really don't think that once it wears away, it's going to affect the look of the shoe at all, because as you guys can see by the side profile, it's hardly noticeable that that pattern is even there in the first place. So all in all, very good looking colorway in my opinion, pretty straightforward, black and metallic silver. I think people who would be interested in a shoe like this probably would want a more low profile colorway anyways. So let me know what you guys think of these down below in the comment section. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the on-feet portion of the video so we can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit, feel, and of course what the sizing is like. All right, so here is a look at the TechCraft Phantom 2s on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock black laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot, I have a pair of metallic silver reflective SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen as well as a link down below in the description of this video. So if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, in comparison to a regular Hypervenom Phantom 2, the difference, again, kind of like the rest of the pack, isn't all that significant. The leather does have a very thin feel to it, a little bit thinner than what you're going to find from the standard Nike Skin upper, and is kind of around the same level of stiffness on your foot out of the box. These are going to soften up significantly as you wear them in, become a lot more flexible, but because they maintained a synthetic liner on the inside that is quite similar to that of the regular Phantom 2, as well as the flywire cables through the midfoot, for the most part, other than the toe box area, the shoes feel pretty similar in terms of how it holds your foot, how it hugs your foot, and how it locks your foot down when you pull the laces tight. So again, the difference here is mostly going to be slightly in the touch because of a different material, as opposed to the feel and fit of the rest of the shoe. That is kind of maintained despite a different upper material. Still has the mid-cut aspect as well. So again, with the break-in process, like any of the mid-cut models from Nike, take your time, don't wear them straight into a game or a free kick session. Just take things slow and you should be able to break these in without any major discomfort issues. As far as width and the general fit of the shoe is concerned, again, identical to that of a regular Phantom 2. It's a tighter fitting shoe, not quite on the same level as what you're gonna find from the Mercurials. And with that in mind, they will fit most people. Again, because of the flywire cables, minimal stretch through the midfoot area. So despite these being leather, don't expect them to give all that much in regards to width. But with that said, as long as you don't mind a tighter fit, I'd say these are going to be suitable for most people as long as you don't have really, really wide feet. As far as sizing is concerned, that remains also identical to that of the regular Phantom 2. I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the TechCraft 2.0 Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2. If you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can click either the little eye in the corner of the screen or the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal retail price. If you have any questions regarding this shoe, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support the video with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.